You boys look like a weird heavy metal band.
Yes, we are a band.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do you play?
Symphonic, post-apocalyptic, reindeer-grinding, Christ-abusing, extreme war, pagan, fennoscandic metal.
Right. Really interesting.
What up, everyone? DJ Anubis here with you on the Meltdown Radio podcast. Do another species spotlight in my tarantula collection, and among the many great things that I do here at the Metal Tavern, music, entertainment, movies, music, of course, and of course, my hobby of collecting tarantulas. I'm up to 16 different species. I'm kind of trying to go through each one that I currently own. Done 2 or 3 of them already. Which brings us now to the Avicularia Avicularia, commonly known as the Avic Avic or pink toe tarantula, which is a beginner species of spider for anybody who gets into the hobby. It's the first one that's usually recommends. They're docile, they're not venomous. Technically could bite you, but they generally don't. They have other ways of deterring you from messing with them, but a lot of times, and if you're going to handle them, there's just a way you go about it, do it very calmly and collectively. And as they often say, if you're going to handle any kind of tarantula, be on the ground so that you don't drop them, because they are very fragile and literally could shatter if they fall from you. And not to mention, like, startling them could get them to bite you anyway. And, you know, even for pink toe, their fangs are not super small unless the spider itself is small, but we'll get into a little bit more how their defensive mechanisms to deter predators away from and all that. But the Avic is an arboreal species, basically a tree spider that like to be up high. They are New World, which is, again, they don't have urticating hairs, but they do have other methods of like spreading hairs on you to make you itch and stuff like that. Their origin is generally in a lot of different places in the world, Brazil, Trinidad, Venezuela, Bolivia. And there's different types of pink toes and, you know, various kinds of the species itself. But I've got a little clip here first before I get into the pictures and my own little video that I have for my particular spider, Pinky, which was named by Neko. But the gentleman from the Tarantula Collective, he does these nice little videos on how he presents care and also the spider itself. And so we'll take a quick look and look at the Avic Avic.
There's been a lot of issues over the years with people debating on exactly how to take care of them. For a long time, the humidity level inside the enclosure was the main focus, but we've learned over time that cross ventilation is much more important than the humidity. In fact, stagnant air is thought to be the main cause of sudden avic death syndrome, so it is important to house them in an enclosure that has good cross ventilation. Personally, I use acrylic enclosures or Exoterra tall enclosures.
And this is a key thing here with the video. So I love these Exoterras a lot. And now some people push against this, which I don't really, I mean, it's not that other people who are in the hobby even longer than me don't have the knowledge. It's just that I do take people like this gentleman here and Dave from Dave's Little Beasties a lot more serious because they've been in for well over 40 years. And so both of them have said Exoterra is fine for an enclosure, which I have had for my first pink toe, which was a male that passed away because they don't live as long. But currently I have my female in like a clear plexiglass type of enclosure with a bunch of holes. So ideally, yeah, sure, the ventilation there is much better, but this clearly, according to these gentlemen, is fine as well, and they look a lot nicer than to me than the all clear acrylic. But because I do try to test different methods out and see how they react. And of course, depending on where you live in the world, like, for them overseas, like Dave, I think he's in England, the way that the climate is and everything around you, what you have in the house, you have to kind of like gauge what's going on. So humidity, I do have clay balls at the bottom of the acrylic container, which helps with humidity, and of course water bowls to keep the spider hydrated. And so far, our female has done very, very well.
I use a large water dish placed at the bottom of the enclosure and provide them with plenty of tall cork bark and plants that they can use.
See, it doesn't look like he uses clay balls, so that's something I can always keep in mind going forward, because they do say that as long as your water bowl is constantly full, that helps with the humidity. But some spiders do like a little more, like the like Mithra, my Venezuelan sun tiger. They like a little bit more humidity. But I always keep the bowls with water in them as well, even if the soil isn't always damp.
As anchors for their webbing and to hide behind. My Avics are the most docile arboreal tarantulas that I have in my collection. They have type 2 urticating hairs, so they don't kick them at you, but they can rub those urticating hairs off onto your skin by pressing their abdomen up against you. At one time, I had 2 or 3 different species of Avicularia, but all those species and locales were all reclassified as Avicularia Avicularia. There are now 6 morph types, I believe. Even my Avicularia bronchalcini is now considered Avicularia Avicularia. You do need to be careful when interacting with this tarantula because it is known to jump, and it will also shoot its poop as a defensive measure. But other than cleaning up white poop off the side of the enclosure, this is an awesome tarantula, and I highly suggest everyone add one to their collection if you don't have one already.
Yeah, so it's funny because I've never had any of my pink toes, shoot poop at me, but I've seen videos of them do it. But when we had Danny Frajo, he actually did jump a lot. Like he would spring on me sometimes and startle me. So I had to be careful because, I grew up with arachnophobia. So this hobby helps me kind of overcome a lot of that. But when a spider does like that, like a pink toe, which is known to jump, wasn't jumping at me to be aggressive or anything. It's what they do. And then one time I was cleaning out his cage and he got out and literally it was kind of a far jump. It was from like this little heater here and he jumped to the ground and, and that's just the amazement and bewilderment of a spider like that. They can do that. But they're very quick, spiders in general, tarantulas in general. So here's first a couple of pictures I took of Pinky. You can see her on the side there, and they're not the clearest, of course, but this one, she's on a piece of the bark that I have in there. And now here's just a little clip of the video I took, even though it was kind of hard to try to focus in with my phone, but I probably should have just opened up the door there, but you can see her. I try not to startle them either when I'm filming them because I want to get them, because sometimes they'll run, and she's kind of a skittish one, so if I would have opened the door up, she would have bolted. Has been eating pretty good lately, but also you can see webbing a little more, maybe on a hunt again. Although she really shouldn't have to eat anymore, but at least for now. But, oh, yeah, maybe some water? I haven't seen her drink. This would be kind of a first. So, yeah, that's Pinky there. Now, interestingly enough, Danny Frajo was kind of like a live and learn thing for me. The first spider I had since Igor, which I had was a Chilean rose like years ago. But I know so much more now with research and watching these videos of Dave's Little Beasties and a Tarantula Collective and learning the care and everything that goes into taking care of them. But even with Danny, when I had him in the Exoterra, I don't like saying spiders are stupid, but sometimes they are. But sometimes it's because, like, after they molt, they're very tired. Like it's a very strenuous process for them to get out of their old exoskeleton, and so that's why they'll eat heavily first. And of course, the humidity and the water is important to have the water in there. So I remember when Danny first molted, and like he was looking really rough, really lethargic, just having a hard time. And I thought he was going to die. So I, on the side of the enclosure, I misted it, and he started lapping it up. You can actually see them go through and start taking up the water. So I knew at that point that he wasn't getting enough water after his molt. So I misted it like 2 or 3 days in a row. I kept missing the side there. And then right below him, because even though he wasn't near his hide, he was on the side and drinking up the water and stuff. So I moved his bowl there, and I just overfilled it. And of course, he went down and dove into it. So the thing about pink toes, you have to be very, very careful. Always make sure there's a lot of water for them, more than most spiders I've noticed. Like with Pinky, you saw I had the little water dish up top, but I also have one at the bottom, just in case she runs out or whatever. She can move to either one of them, depending on where she is. Because sometimes she'll hunt, and sometimes the crickets will be at the bottom, and she'll go find them and track them down. And so it's important, though. I've learned a lesson with pink toes is that always have plenty of water for them. More because some spiders, they're okay with a little bit the water dishes, but like Salem or Mexican redleg, he drinks a lot, or she does. But then Cruella, my striped knee, doesn't drink as often. She'll stay burrowed a lot. But I still keep the bowls, up to date and filled and stuff like that. So it's a nice hobby. It's cool. I've got a lot of interesting creatures and species. So I'll continue to try to bring you all more and more stuff like this to show you what I got, and just kind of give you a quick education on the particular spiders that I do have. Anyway, coming up, let me see what we do have coming up here, because schedule. I'm going to be definitely trying to get my Ongbok review out. I'm going to do that tomorrow, I promise. I've been really lazy on that one, just haven't gotten it out, and I need to start getting more of those out. Also, I'm going to be doing a review for the movie Exuma, which just came out on Shudder, but I'm going to watch that one again, because it's a lot to take in on the first one, because it didn't turn out exactly like I thought it would be. I thought it'd be more straightforward. But so I do have that coming up Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll be on the Entertainment headquarters with Kevin Lambert and a few other guests for his Monsterverse live stream. So we're going to go through and talk about the Monsterverse and how it's impacted the Godzilla franchise, as well as the Kaiju universe. Of course, -1, Shin Godzilla, which all came out from Toho after 2014. It's basically a resurgence of Godzilla and Kaiju films as we get more and more stuff. Even on Netflix, you get the animated Gamera stuff that's coming back out. So there's a lot of stuff coming back out that's been kickstarted by the legendary Monsterverse. So as much as some people may not like the Monsterverse, it was very imperative and very much influenced into what we have now with -1 and everything else. So it's not to say they created Godzilla, of course, but the fact is it had a resurgence of interest in Godzilla. And then Saturday, I think we're doing it 3 p.m. Eastern, I think, to double check with Walter Ross, but we're going to be reviewing The Crow. Now, this is one of my all-time favorite films, as people know. And, but Walter had never seen it up until recently. So I'm not sure who else is going to be involved with the review, but certainly very excited about this for sure. And I have to double check with that. I don't know if he wants to do it on my channel or if he just wants to do it, if he's doing it on Sentry's or his own. Like, I think he might be doing it on his own. So maybe, I don't know. I have to check with him because whether or not he can add people to his streams, I don't know. But I'll have to double check with him on that. But I can host it. It's just not a big deal. But I just want to get that ahead of time so I can prepare the thumbnail and everything. So, yeah. Awesome stuff coming up. Be sure to check it out. And we'll see you next time on the Metal Time Radio Podcast.